Welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell.
How was the weekend?
It's good. Always goes by way too fast.
It really does, doesn't it? I mean, we all work. It's an old Loverboy song.
Are you going to start singing right now?
No, I won't do that. No.
You're going to scare off our listeners. They're going to turn us off in like 3 seconds into the podcast.
Working for the weekend. Man, I saw them on concert last year.
Was it fun?
Yeah, the lead singer sounded just like he did back in the 80s, except this time he was 350 pounds.
Oh,
okay.
So that's a big change.
He's living the good life.
That works. What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Oh, Journey, Bite Out.
You didn't have to think for a second.
No, I love Journey. Yeah, but they got a bit of a ruckus going on right now. I guess they had that falling out years ago with Steve Perry, and then this other guy came on who he did a great job and is doing a great job. But now I guess he's kind of on his way out.
Drama. How many times have you seen Journey?
4.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and you?
Best concert?
Yeah.
Tom Petty at Fenway.
Oh, really?
Oh gosh, it was the coolest show in the world, and in an historic venue, which really just felt really fun. And I only got to see him once, but man, it was cool.
He did the halftime show when the Super Bowl was here in Glendale. It must have been like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Yeah.
I mean, I saw it on TV, but I wasn't here for it.
Yeah. Poor Tom. He's passed. He's gone.
Incredible musician, though.
Yeah. Hey, listen, today we're talking about stamps, which at first glance may kind of sound kind of boring, but it's not. It's not. This is really, really cool stuff. First of all, do you still use stamps?
I do.
You do?
I do. I send thank you notes. I think there's nothing better than a handwritten thank you note. So anytime somebody, does something sweet for me, I just want to make sure I acknowledge it. I do the quick text, like, I got the thing you sent, or the kind words, thank you so much. And then I always send up a formal note later.
There's nothing like a handwritten note. I mean, it just comes from the heart. It's not like a keyboard, and you're not typing it in. And it is a little informal, I guess, with emails today and text messages. I think emails are more impersonal than text messages, but still.
Well, because there's not much immediate back and forth. And I always do send the text or the quick email, like if somebody's sending something, to acknowledge I got it.
Yeah.
I'm aware, but I'll even include in the text, like, formal thank you coming soon. Because I don't want them to think that this is taking the place of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like to send, birthday cards. I still send birthday cards to, nieces and nephews and things. Like, I like to do stuff like that just to make sure they know I'm thinking of them.
Yeah. I used to buy a book of stamps all the time to send out bills or whatever it is that I had to do. I never really bought stamps piecemeal, like one at a time. I really didn't know how much they were. But
they've gotten pricey.
Oh, my gosh. We were just talking about this down in the newsroom. I don't know if you heard, but do you know how much stamps are right now? I never knew they were this high.
I just actually bought, you know what? I don't remember how much I spent, but my best friend loves sending notes. She is the queen of handwritten notes. Yeah. And she also loves Jeopardy.
Yeah.
So USPS has Alex Trebek stamps out right now.
Oh.
So I bought her a sheet of those. That was part of her birthday gift. And I have no idea how much I actually spent on them.
It's like me. You buy the whole book, but you don't know how much they are per stamp.
How much? Bring it on.
73 cents a stamp. They just went up in July.
Oof.
What is going on with that?
It's a little pricey.
It's pricey. I just started making out my bills online. For the most part, everything is free. There's no charge. Just zip, goes right out. You're paid. The only roadblock I have is my HOA, and I think I'm going to start boycotting them because I will choose 73 cents to send the bill or my check. But when I send it electronically, there's nobody that has to open up envelopes or anything. It's just right in their bank account. They want to charge $2.99.
Just for you to send it?
For me to send it electronically, digitally, whatever. Isn't that crazy?
That's too much.
Yeah. So
I don't like that service fee.
No, I don't either, and I don't get it, but I'll stick with the 73 cents. Hey, today we're talking to Nick Spitzman. He is with Stamps.com, and you join us from Austin, Texas today. How are we today, Nick?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, so you work for Stamps.com, and we're going to talk about what Stamps.com is in just a little bit. But and I'm not going to get you fired here, but do you still use stamps? You don't have to. You don't have to admit that you don't, but do you?
I do. Some stuff that still has to be sent physically. I use both stamps.com and occasionally the stamp from the junk drawer that's been there for a bit.
Yeah,
Those forever stamps that have been in that junk drawer for a long time are the
paying
most
off.
valuable thing in the world right now because you might have bought them when they were 40 cents, right?
yeah, exactly. So I like those stamps, but 73 cents. Can you do anything about that for us, Nick?
I can. If you actually use stamps.com, you do get a discount off of that 73 cents.
Oh, okay. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But our conversation today is kind of focused around a big survey that Stamps.com did. And there were some very surprising results. So let's get right to it. What was some of the surprising things that you found in the survey?
Yeah. First, what was not surprising was about 2/3 of Americans still mail something at least monthly. Mail is still an integral part of the American societal experience. That part was not surprising. However, what was surprising was half of Gen Z, 48% of the Gen Zers interviewed, still mail at least once a month. And that was pretty surprising. We assume that the younger generations are not using the mail, that everything is digital. But what we found was that's not the case. And anything that, as you all were discussing, anything that seems like it requires more of a personal touch, anything that requires an appearance of having put in effort, Gen Z does appreciate that. So 48% of Gen Zers from our survey still using the mail at least once a month.
Are we just talking about like letters, or are we talking about letters, packages, anything that might be shipped?
Anything that might be mail or shipped, using that once a month. And when you think about what might be sent, and it could be a care package, right? It could be I thought of this for you, or I have a printed out photograph I wanted to send you. It could be a letter, a thank you note, as you all said. But the fact that they're still using it instead of putting everything digitally, that was a surprise for us.
So let's qualify what Gen Zers are. They're born between 1997 and 2012. So the majority of them are in their 20s.
Oh, they're little babes.
They're just little. You're in that group, aren't
I
you?
am not, but thanks so much for the. I'm going to take that compliment and run with it for the rest of the day.
I am not in that group either. I'm on I'm on like way before this. But
I'm called an elder millennial.
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. An elder
An
millennial?
elder millennial, like the old part of the millennials.
Oh man,
I know, it's a rough one.
that doesn't sound very complimentary.
I know, you can see the wrinkles forming around my eyes as we speak, right?
Oh my gosh. All right. So what you found out was a lot of these Gen Zers in their 20s are using the mail at least once a month. What else did your survey reveal? That's kind of surprising.
That part was surprising. Also, 1/3 of American businesses still mail at least once a week, which is also surprising. So naturally, if you mail a product, for example, if you're an e-commerce company, of course, you're mailing all the time. But when you consider the total of American businesses, 1/3 of them still using the mail once a week was surprising. So the number of things that still go out as bills or invoices or documents or any type of check, if it's got to be still a physical check sent, or anything that has to be signed with a wet signature, still 1/3 of American businesses are involved in using the mail for businesses, for their business practices once a week. That was also surprising.
We have Thanksgiving coming up before we know it, and then of course Christmas, and that's a time when a lot of folks, including my family, we do send out Christmas cards.
I better be on that list now that I know you send them.
Well, you're always on my list. I don't know if you want to know which list it is.
Do you need my address right now?
Can I just put it on your desk? Does that count? And that way I don't have to spend the 73 cents.
Okay.
I did buy you breakfast today, by the way.
You did.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
I think it's the thought. We kind of talked about this, Nick, but it is the thought behind just taking time to write it and putting out an address. Is that what drives, particularly during the holidays, the mail system?
That's right. Not for the whole mail system, but for this idea of individuals still going through the effort of sending something. It's exactly right. So if you think of a birthday card, a thank you note, as you said, a handwritten letter, these things show a level of personal touch, of effort, possibly having to go to the post office and wait in line just to send this thing to someone. And in a lot of ways also the reliability that someone is more likely to open something if it's physically in their hands, from their mailbox, as opposed to one of hundreds of emails somebody might receive in a day. So all of these things are driving individuals to still use the mail.
Yeah, and don't you avoid a lot of the scams by mailing things instead of like doing it online, because there's so many data breaches out there and online scams? You kind of avoid that by using snail mail, as I call it.
That's right. There's some of that too, and the reliability of the mail is one of the factors that people pointed out in the survey.
I think one of the things that has gone through a little bit of an evolution with the mail is invitations. You always used to get an invitation to any event in the mail, in your mailbox. And then kind of, maybe 15, 20 years ago, everybody started emailing invitations. And now I think we're a little bit back to formal invitations in the mail. With the exception of the kids' birthday parties, those still, either come home in the backpack or mom or dad texts them to other moms and dads. But, for events like a wedding or something like that, I think people are shifting maybe a little bit back toward the formal, at least, in my own personal life. That's how we've received some invitations. And there was a period of time when almost everything was emailed.
And I totally agree with you on that, on the formality of it. I just feel like if I get an invite to a wedding or something that's a big event and it's sent through the email, that's kind of lazy, I feel. It doesn't fit.
It doesn't feel grand.
It doesn't feel like the big event that it's supposed to be, like a wedding, for example. But yeah, it's kind of the lazy way. However, if it's like a going away party or something like that,
it fits a tone.
It fits the tone, exactly.
My mom is the queen of mail. She loves making her own cards. She makes these beautiful, really intricate cards, and she goes to the post office, and I think she knows every single person that works at her local post office, and she mails a round of cards a week. She gets them to all of her nieces and nephews and aunts that are, everybody. She's incredible with the mail, but she probably is keeping USPS afloat just single-handedly.
And that's kind of funny, because you and I were talking earlier about how the mail has really declined. I think right now, parcels of mail it's like at the lowest it's ever been. Is that right?
Yeah, constant decline since the early 2000s, really.
Yeah. I think that says a lot, because a lot of people are doing it digitally, but you have, like these Gen Zers who still like to, at least half of them still like to do it at least once a month. What else did your survey reveal, Nick? Anything else that kind of bounced out of the ring at you?
No, the Gen Z thing was really the big reveal. And particularly when you look at other trends that we see from Gen Z outside of mail that are more physical. So for example, coming back with disposable cameras, or sometimes you see them getting into vinyl records, sort of these things from the past that are more tangible and that they want to be involved with. And it was interesting to see mail also be a part of that. Yeah,
vinyl is making a huge comeback. Thinking about the Valley and the Phoenix metro area, I would gather to say probably the largest composition of mail is in what area, would you say, Susan? Oh, it's got to be.
I don't know.
It's got to be Sun City.
Oh, yeah.
Sun City.
You got it, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, that's where a lot of retirees live, and they don't trust the internet, or they don't like using it. So,
yeah. That makes sense. I would probably.
Mail's got to be like really big over there.
I've been to their processing plant for stories before, and it's like around holiday time and the holiday rush.
Yeah.
It is incredible just watching those. I've been through at the letters area, and I've been where they sort the packages, and both are just firing on all cylinders, and incredible to see how much it actually takes to get all of these things to the right place.
Yeah, and when I used to send my bills, including like my mortgage, it would have to go across the United States, and it would go through snail mail, but it would be there like within 3 days. I'm thinking to myself, wow, boy, did that get there quick. I mean, from my house basically to where it was going. It's amazing. Hey, tell us a little bit about stamps.com. And you piqued my interest when you said I can get a stamp not for 73 cents, but cheaper than that. So what do you guys do?
Yeah, so we're essentially a software or a service that you can use on your web browser that allows people to print a stamp or a shipping label just like you would by going to the post office or the UPS store. You log on, you put in the address of where you're going to send. You have a lot of addresses. You can have an address book in the system, and you print your postage right from home. So you don't need the stamp from the junk drawer. You can print also the exact amount of postage you need instead of putting a bunch of stamps on there and not knowing exactly how much you should send. And also for heavier things like packages, you can use shipping service from USPS, UPS, DHL, whatever.
How do you pay for that?
You pay for that with your credit card online.
So, and I guess you just kind of store it in there, and then whenever you need it, it's there.
That's exactly right.
And if I'm mailing Susan a really big fat Christmas card this holiday, and it's really heavy
because it has so many gift cards or something.
So many gift cards in there,
and
it weighs like a half pound. What do I do with stamps.com then? I can just, how do I figure out how much postage goes on there?
So when you sign up, you actually will send you a scale. You just pay shipping and handling where you can weigh the big fat package, and it will tell you exactly how much postage you need to send it from where you are to her house. And then you print that postage or shipping label, depending on the type of service that you want and how fast you want it to get there. If you want tracking, all the services a post office or a UPS store would have. And you print that out and you stick it on the package and you mail it.
How do I weigh it?
So you'll have a scale connected to your laptop, or you might have a separate scale, for example, one you use in your kitchen. If you're not sure, you can put in a rough amount and print the label the same way.
And then how does it go on the envelope? You can't lick it.
No, it's a little sticker. So you print, if it's a shipping label, you got two options. You can print it on a regular piece of paper and just tape it on there, or you could have something from us where you print directly on a label and you stick it on the package. Or if it's a postage, you print it on, or if it's a stamp, you print it on little stickers that we have called net stamps. And the exact amount of postage comes on there, and you put it on like a regular stamp.
You can't tape a stamp on because they won't take it. But you could put a tape on your postage.
So you can put tape on a shipping label. You can even print it on a regular piece of paper. So think of a shipping label being something that you put on a package where you'd write out, the address and whatever, but there's actual postage on it. Think of a UPS label, for example. There's the equivalent of postage for UPS. And then for postage, so a regular stamp, we actually have a deal with the U.S. Postal Service where you print on our stickers called net stamps. You print the actual stamp itself, and it's federally certified. You print the code on there, and it works just like a regular stamp.
All right, interesting.
How much are people actually saving?
It's about 3 to 4 cents per stamp.
Wow. So if you got a lot of family and friends to mail stuff out,
maybe that's the Christmas card route.
I like that idea. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Hey, listen, Nick, thanks so much for being on the On Your Side podcast. You're with stamps.com. That's pretty easy to remember. I really appreciate it. Enjoy yourself down in Austin. Stay cool down there. By the way, over the weekend here in Phoenix, it was 117 degrees. So I don't want to hear any complaining about how hot it is in Austin. Okay, Nick?
No complaints. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Have a great day. The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton. And I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can. Send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock, and every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.